Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. Today we are going to make book tracker bookmarks. And these are designed so you can track what you read right on them by writing the name of the book. Now, I'm gonna make these two different ways, but I don't want you to think these are the only ways to make these. So I'm gonna give you some more suggestions as well. So I wanted to make like sturdier versions of this bookmark. So I did one where I laser cut it out and print right on the laser cut wood. And then I'm gonna do a second version with a metal bookmark and I'm gonna sublimate the design onto it. Now, you could also just do a print and cut on a heavy cardstock with this and use your Cricut machine. You could do print and cut on like a printable vinyl and stick it to the front of a metal bookmark. There are a variety of ways to make these. I'm just gonna do it two ways in this video, but the file is for free in the description below this video. So feel free to grab the file and make these bookmarks however you choose to. Now you can keep watching this video for my instructions on the two different ways that I'm going to make them. However, feel free to experiment after you get your free file. So first of all, let's take a look at the wood bookmark that I'm going to cut with a laser and print on top of. I'm actually using true flat laser plywood for this in white, and I'm going to cut it with my WeCreat laser. Now, later on in this video, I will walk through how to do this same design in xTool software. So if you have an xTool laser, I have you covered there as well. Within the WeCreat software, click New Project, and then you want to go ahead and upload your design file. So you're going to click File and then Import and find that file on your computer. Remember, I do have the file for free in the description below this video. Once you have the file uploaded, you want to make sure that you make it a specific height or one of the measurements very specific so you know what to print it at. Here I'm making my height at 6. Then I'm going to add an offset around the outside edge. I like rounded corners, and you can play with the offset amount and decide what you would like it to be. I ended up liking a 0.05 offset, and I went ahead and clicked confirm, and then I deleted the image off. So we only need the outline to cut in this case. I wanted to add a couple circles at the top for a hole for a little tassel. So I ended up going with a 0.75 inch circle for the outside and then a 0.25 inch circle for the inside. Now, you can change up these measurements however you would like for this top circle and make it however you would like. So just make both of the circles, then center them inside of each other. And then you just need to move them around to get the look that you want. So be sure to pick both of those circles and move them around to wherever you want them. Then pick the outside circle as well as the outline of your bookmark and merge those shapes. Then I picked both of my outlines and grouped them together. And now I am ready to cut. I can duplicate this if I want for more than one bookmark as well. Now you want to pick the wood. Now, I am cutting this true flat plywood for the first time and I ended up needing like 5 passes in order to cut through it. So you may want to do a test cut here depending on the product that you're using. Add your plywood into the WeCreat Vista and then leave the lid open and click refresh in the software. This will give you an image of the inside of your laser and you can move your cut around on your piece. You can also auto measure in order to get the exact thickness for the material that you're using. Change the line type to cut in order to cut your design. And again, I did need to change the number of passes here. I actually changed it to 5 later on, and I turned the speed down to 4. Then go ahead and close your lid and click Start in the software in order to start the cut. Then click Send in order to send the cut to your laser and press the button on the front of the laser to begin the cut. Once that cut is done, just lift the lid and you can remove your bookmark from the laser itself. Now again, you might want to do a test cut on this material if you are cutting this material for the first time. I had to do a few different cuts in order to get this result. Now, the best part about this true flat white plywood is that the marks around the outside edge just wipe right off. So there's no need for masking or anything. So I just went and cleaned it up before heading to my printer. Now, if you want to make the same design within the xTool software, the process is very similar. And I did want to point out that I'm making just the cut design in this video. If you have the xTool M1 Ultra, you could actually do a print and cut right in that machine. So go ahead and click upload and find the file on your computer in order to upload it. Again, you will want to resize it, but you do want to make it an exact size so that you know what size to print your design. So I went up and changed my height to 6 in order to get an exact height. Then go ahead and click offset, and again, I like a rounded offset, and you can play around with the offset amount. Again, you can delete the actual print file if you're not using the xTool M1 Ultra to print, and we're gonna add a couple of circles. Again, I added a 0.75 inch circle for the outside diameter and a 0.25 circle for the inside diameter. Add that inside circle to the outside circle in the center and move them around and get them exactly in the location you want them in order to cut. Then pick both the outside circle as well as that outline for your book stack and go ahead and unite those two together. Then pick everything and group it. Again, you can make copies of this if you would like. If you were going to make more than one bookmark, you would make copies at this time. When getting ready to cut, you would auto measure your material and pick your cut settings. Again, if you are cutting this true flat plywood for the first time, you might have to play around with the material settings. Then you can go ahead and locate the design on your wood and cut it with your laser. I do have another video on locating designs on the xTool laser, and I will link to that in the description below this video. So now that I have my bookmarks cut, I do want to print on them. I'm going to use the Eufy Make printer in order to print on these. So we'll go ahead and head to the software and go ahead and upload the file. So click upload and then find the file on your computer. Then with this file, you will want to rotate it and then size it. Remember, we did the sizing at exactly 6 inches tall, so I'm going to size it the same in this software for printing. Then for the ink mode, because I'm printing on a white surface, I'm gonna go ahead and change that to CMYK. There is no need to print the white. I wanna make sure that the mini flatbed is picked because that's what I currently have in my machine. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my bookmark to the machine and click snapshot in order to see the bookmark in the machine. Once I can see it, I can go ahead and locate the design and even rotate it if I need to in order to fit the bookmark exactly. When I click snapshot, it will measure the height as well as take a picture of the bed of the machine. Then once I have the design exactly where I want it, I can go ahead and click print. And for material, I'm gonna go ahead and pick wood. Then just click start printing and watch the magic happen within the Eufy Make printer. Once that print is complete, I can remove the bookmark from the printer and this one is ready to go. There's nothing else you need to do to these bookmarks once you printed them. Now I did want to point out that with this printer, I could also print on both sides of the bookmark. So I could print on one side and then flip it over and print on the other side. All I would need to do is to pick the image, right click and flip the image. Now you might need to flip vertical, you might need to flip horizontal depending on the image and the location. Once you have the image flipped, you'll just locate it just like we did last time. You might have to rotate it a little bit more, locate it into place and click print. This will print on the opposite side of that bookmark, so you have a two-sided book tracker bookmark once that printing is complete with this one. Again, this is completely dry and ready for use straight out of the printer. Now that we've made that wood bookmark, I do want to make a sublimation version. So this is a sublimation bookmark blank, and we're going to sublimate the design onto it. So let's take a look at how to do that. Now, if you want to sublimate your bookmark, I suggest Canva for resizing your design. I clicked a custom size and did 8.5 by 11 inches because that's the size of my sublimation paper. Then click upload and upload your file, finding the file on your computer. Then click the file to add it to the paper itself. And we want to resize the design. Now, you want to resize this to fit the sublimation bookmark that you're using. You might find it helpful to crop in the white areas from the outside edge so you get a better idea just how large the image is. Then just resize it to fit on whatever bookmark blank that you're using. I went ahead and measured my bookmark blank with a ruler in order to get the correct size. And then you can duplicate that image as many times as you want in order to make multiple bookmarks if you would like. Then when it comes time to download for sublimation, I like to download it as a PDF for print in CMYK and go ahead and click download. And then you can print on the sublimation printer of your choice. Be sure to print on a sublimation printer using sublimation ink on sublimation paper. Then we can press that design to our sublimation bookmarks. Now remember, the bookmarks themselves will need to have a sublimation coating. Go ahead and remove any protective coating from the sublimation bookmarks, and then cut the print around the outside and apply it to the bookmark itself using heat-resistant tape. Then I placed it on a heat-resistant mat using protective paper on both sides and pressed. Here I'm using a Cricut Easy Press, 400 degrees, 60 seconds. Then remove the sublimation print, and the sublimation bookmarks are complete at this point. All that's left to do with either one of these bookmarks is to add a tassel at the top if you would like, and start writing in the books as you read them. So you can make the laser wood version, either the single-sided or the double-sided version, or you can make the sublimation version. And again, I mentioned several other versions at the beginning of this video that you could try as well. Then you just grab a fine line Sharpie and start writing in the books as you read them, and use this to track your reading progress. Whether you have a laser machine and that Eufy Make printer, or even the xTool M1 Ultra and can print on that laser plywood, or if you have a sublimation printer and just want to sublimate these, I really think you are going to love the way these turn out. So now I've given you a couple of different options, and like I said at the beginning of this video, you can make these a variety of different ways. So whether you have a sublimation printer, whether you have a laser, whether you want to just print then cut these out of heavy cardstock with your Cricut machine, however you want to make these, I would encourage you to make a book tracker bookmark of your very own. I think this is a really fun project and a great way to keep track of those books that you read. Now, I think these are for anywhere from kids to adults, so be sure to make a couple of these and keep track of those books. And you might just need the double-sided version that I did. This is the one that I would definitely need because I read so many books. If you don't need the double-sided one, of course, you could make one of the other ones or multiple ones. And then I feel like this would be a great keepsake, right? So these are all the books that I read during the summer, and I have a cute bookmark to show my progress. So I think these are very fun for kids and adults alike, and I hope you enjoy them as well. Grab that free file and make them any of the ways that I've shown or any of the ways that I've mentioned. Now, if you have any questions about book tracker bookmarks, feel free to drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you liked this video and it helped you, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.